children of light. On the 22nd of your September, you are all going to enter a photonic belt of light. For as your solar system has indeed stepped foot onto the new accord, the planet on which all of you are finding yourselves shall take the next step in its evolutionary process.
In other words, the basic conspiracy is that the Illuminati has created New Age spirituality so that we can have a false sense of freedom or overlook earthly events on the false promise of ascension.
None of this works. So what does work? Throughout history, a lot of mystical traditions, Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, all these people, right, all these monks with shaved heads in caves meditating, realize that the reason you suffer and the reason you're unhappy is because you filter the world through ideas and you attach belief to these ideas form expectations, and when your expectations don't mean reality, you're unhappy. This is Tony Robbins' formula for happiness too, by the way. Expectations equal reality, you're happy. They don't, you're unhappy. Tony Robbins and life coaches come at this. I'm going very quickly because this is an ad, so I want to just get everything down really quickly so you can go to my channel and I can teach you how to do it. So anyway, when your expectations meet reality, I'm going to go really fast. You become happy. The problem is, the key flaw here is they never match up. So they try to teach you to bump it up. Bump up your expectations. Or no, bump up your reality to match your expectations. Teach you how to bump it up. Make more.
Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. How to open your third eye. I already made a video how to decalcify your pineal gland, and the chakras are the glands. The third eye is located right in between our brows, right in the middle of our forehead, right there. Rub it around and feel the energy rise, just like that. The pineal gland produces melatonin, and this is a powerful antioxidant which governs the sleep and wake cycles, and it gets rid of free radicals, anti-aging right there in your face.
What the world needs is a good whipping.
You know, it's a little bit off subject, but the same kind of principle. I heard that, and I won't mention his name, but it was a big leader and founder of a huge satanic organization. And he was on his deathbed, and for a Satanist at the time of death, it's a great victory for them, because death is a huge thing that they celebrate. And he was getting ready to die and pass on his powers and that. And on his deathbed, he must have got some revelation or an angelic appearance or something. And he went into shock and he said, "Oh my, oh my, what have I done?" He said, "There's something very wrong. There's something very wrong. There's something very wrong."
Wow.
And his whole life had been spent propagating these satanic beliefs, getting everyone to believe, establishing official organizations for Satanism, and then at the end of his life he gets this light that comes to him.
That's the real thing. He had given himself under demonic control. He was evil.
Very clever. A genius, for God's sake. A raving genius, you know. In a world of little tiny people, this crowd is saying, "My God, why are you so unhappy? You want to make love? Well, make love, for Christ's sake. You want to take drugs? You want to expand your consciousness? Please do it."
He moved from one set of temporary lodgings to another and finally ended up in a boarding house in Hastings. His life of excess had left him with nothing but chronic heroin addiction and infamy.
Chef Lou's come and gone. And there's almost like an irony to it that he's come here really where old people die. The great beast 666, the wickedest man in the world, is now residing in a boarding house, you know, with a lot of other old people.
Unbound. They slew me, so be my grave without a name, that earth may swallow up my shame.
And when my mother resisted having this abortion, he commenced to beating her and kicking her in the stomach and hitting her, trying to force the baby to come out or be stillborn. And so when that didn't work, he dragged her through the house and threw her in the car and took her down to where the abortionist was, and they were already waiting for her. They put her on the table, put her feet up in the stirrups, went inside of her with all kinds of weapons of destruction. And then they also was using types of pills and different things like that, making my mother swallow them, to try to destroy me from inside her stomach and through her womb area. And they worked on her for 2 or 3 hours, my mother said. And my mother, she actually felt like there was some hands inside of her blocking me from being destroyed. Or if she is, we're just going to leave the baby because it's too much trouble. We'll kill her in the process. And my father didn't want to kill her. He was just trying to get rid of another baby. And God saw to it that he spared my life. And from that, I'm here today. I was 4 years old when I started using drugs. My brothers were shooting heroin. When I asked them, I said, well, let me have some of that. And they said, oh, no, you can't have that. You're nothing but a child. You ain't old enough yet. And I heard a voice. It says, you don't have to listen to them. Don't worry about it. I'll show you how to get high. He said, go in the kitchen and pull the chair up to the stove and turn it on and take what I tell you in there. And I'll show you how to huff. You know, and that's the first time I ever got into huffing, was at 4 years old. And he showed me what things to use. And like a professional, I was doing that, getting high every day at 4 years old.
Dark side.
She taught me what the love potions were, how to use them, how to slow a person's business down. As far as if you wanted to work a person over real bad with pavor nocturnus. Pavor nocturnus is a really bad thing. Night terror. She showed me how to put a person in nemos. Nemos is to put a person in a vicious spiral that they can never get out of. And the more they pay you to cast a spell off of them, the more they get wrapped into the spell. It's called Nemo cycle. And she said, you keep a person in Nemo cycle, you'll never be broke, because I got to keep coming back to you to get another spell and another spell, get them off of that spell, another spell off of that spell. And she was really, really a wicked person, and she was into control, manipulation, and keeping the person bound and attached to her.
She had some paranormal powers.
Remember back in those days where you pulled the string and the doll would talk? Well, she didn't have to pull the string for her doll to talk. The doll would just talk to her, and she would talk back to the doll. And I turned the lights on. I said, what can this be shaking under my bed? What is this? So I looked under the bed, and then I saw my dad. I said, Dad, what you doing under this bed? What's going on? You know, to myself, I said, you sort of old to be playing these kind of games. You know, it's late. Go downstairs and go to sleep. He didn't say anything. Just got a grin on his face like this. And his skin tone was green, and he was all scaly. And I had never seen anything like this before. I said, Dad, what kind of stuff is this? And then he came out from under the bed, and the more he came up, he had the top torso part of him, but the bottom of him was like a fish's body, green scales like a fish. And he came up and he smiled at me, and he laughed at me, and then he did one of these numbers and dived and went right through the floor. And at that time, I freaked out. I said, oh my God, this lady is really, she's turned this room into a horrible place. And she said, I'm going to curse you and she did one of these numbers, and she threw her hand, and she said some words, and I'm never going to say those words, but she said those words, and that man fell over backwards. Bang, he fell over, hit the concrete real hard. And I looked at that, wow. I called her Mama. I said, Mama, I didn't know you had that kind of power. I want that too, you know? And so I said those words that she said. I stood there in the background, way over there, about 10, 15, 20 feet away. She didn't know I was there. And I said those same words she said, and I saw something start spinning, like a tornado started spinning, just like this. And it started spinning faster and faster, and I looked there, and it came like this, and right inside of me. And I said, oh my God, what did I do? And then it was something was inside, it was still kept spinning inside of me. And I got so scared, I ran in the house, wasn't that far from my house. I ran in the house, and I saw my brothers and sisters and everybody there, and I was trying to explain to them what was going on. And said something, I kept saying, something's in me, something in me. What's in you? I said, I don't know, something's in me. Get it out, get it out. Something's in me, get it out. I said, oh, you crazy, there's nothing in you. What's in you? So I said, it's inside, something's inside me. I said, all right, nothing inside of you. So that night, one of my uncles, he had a drinking problem real bad. He and I was real close. My dad and I weren't close to my uncle. He sort of raised me. But everything my dad was showing me bad, he tried to show me good stuff. And so, but he had a drinking problem, and he was drunk. He laid on the floor, and I laid down there next to him because he was my protector and my buddy, you know. He still is. He's still alive, so I still love my uncle. And I laid there, and I astral projected out of my body. Left my body at one place, and I went into another place. And when I got there, I found exactly what it was, like a snap of a finger. And when I got there, there was 2 8-foot-tall angels with a flaming sword. They looked like they had been working out in the gym. They was tough. And I stood around the back of a telephone pole, and I peeked out at them. I said, man, I see why them little imps couldn't do nothing. Wow. Then I went back into myself. And man, these guys, wow. They got some serious power, man. My God, they got some power behind them.
Kelly decided he now wanted some of that same protection from the angels he had seen on the occultic dark side. Because of his involvement in voodoo, Curtis Kelly was tormented by demons throughout his whole life, but he left his occult lifestyle. But he leaves us with a sober warning of the consequences of dabbling in the occult.
Let me show you what form. If a person gets into, say, seances, a Ouija board, stuff like that, or pentagrams on the floor, and candles, and all those kinds of things, or blood sacrifice, sacrificing a cat or animal, you have opened yourself up for possession, or a poltergeist, and all of his cousins are going to come in there, and they are going to give that house a fit. It will be horrible, okay? Then there's other ways. Television can be another way. As a portal, they can come in. If a person watches pornography all the time, watches pornography, that spirit, okay, that porn ain't spirit, like in the Greek and the French, will come in. It would literally march through that porthole, and it would set up, and it would sit, and it would wait, and it would sit, and it would wait, and it brings sickness. It would bring all kinds of diseases. It would bring all kinds of stuff in there just because that television was a vehicle to be used to come in. And that's just one way. Then there's all kinds of anger. If a person, let's say if a man is in the house, always angry, no matter what the wife does, that man gonna be angry. It's like she pull her hair out the roots, and he's still angry. She can do cartwheels. She can cook a feast. She can do every second he's angry. What's happening? There's 5 different types of anger, and all of those types will start to come in to his house, and in his house would be a house of rage, and that is an actual spirit. It's an actual spirit called Nektiel. Nektiel comes in, and it's a power. It comes in, and it's power. It takes complete power over that house, and the children will start to act bad in school. There's no love there. People will come and they can feel that, so you know what, man, it's getting late, I'm going home. Wow, this is a bad house to be in. I feel the creeps when I come in here. It's because that person has allowed those things to come in.
After experiencing the occult firsthand, Kelly feels he will never go back to his former practices.
So you got to draw a line in the sand. You can't follow me no more.
John Ramirez never doubted that there's life after death. As a satanic priest, he knew he was going to hell when he died. And that was fine with him until he took a trip there and came face to face with the devil himself.
John Ramirez grew up in the Bronx, where his relatives practiced Santeria.
My father's side came from a family of witches and warlocks. My father was very heavy into Santeria, very heavy into spiritualism.
John longed for a relationship with his dad, but his father was abusive.
I light up my candles, I spit the rum, I spit the cigar smoke. The cigar smoke means power. If I didn't have money for a rooster, I'd cut myself and use my own blood and pour it in. The whole atmosphere of the room changes. And you know there's something there. And then when it's there, you have to dress them like a family member. My father, I'm here. What would you like to speak to me about? What is it you want me to do?
As time went on, John also practiced the dark arts outside his apartment. He preyed on Christians in particular.
At the clubs, I would go around looking for Christians. And I knew that in the club, you was in the devil's playground. So I knew that if I can get into it and you had a beer or two already in your system, I knew all I had to do was just say, listen, I have something to tell you today. And right now you will open the door because you said, what is it you need to tell me? You gave me gateway.
Eventually, John became a high priest in Palo Mayombe, a form of African spiritualism. As he became more powerful, John took warfare seriously.
The devil told me that I had to go into the neighborhood in the spirit realm in order to weaken it in the natural. Whatever you kill in the spirit realm, you can kill in the natural. So I will leave my body home and astral project myself into different boroughs, different regions, different states, different countries. And as I fly to the neighborhood, I would speak curses into the neighborhood, speak things that I wanted to happen into the neighborhood. Sometimes I will go into can't have me, the best way out is suicide. In my ignorance, in my shame, in my mind that was so far gone, spiritually drained, very spiritually drained.
John didn't know how to pray, but he began to talk to God.
I don't know what they call you, Jesus, whatever they call you in church. I don't like you. I never liked you. I never had nothing to do with you. I want no dealings with you. I hate you. I don't want to be part of you. I never want to be a Christian. I disown you. If that's going to get you away from me, I will worship the devil to the day I die. I whisper saying, if you are bigger than the God that I serve, then you show me tonight or leave me alone.
John went to sleep and dreamed he was on a subway.
The train was filled with people, and their faces were drained, and we were going somewhere that I know that was not good. And as the train was going faster than light, there was a lady dressed very elegant, and she started talking to me in demonic tongues. I understood the tongue. Traitor, you're leaving us. So I try to get into the middle of the train, in the middle of the people, so she won't reach me. Pop hit, and the doors open. I ended up in hell.
John stepped out of the subway and into the darkness.
As I went to the tunnels of hell, the heat, it wasn't a heat that you feel on earth. It grips you, and the fear ropes around you. There's no hope. The hope is removed. As I got to a part of the tunnel, the devil came out, bigger and more strong. I've never seen him like that. And he said to me,
I've been with you since you were 9 years old. I've been a father to you. I've given you everything.
He said, I'm going to keep you here, because if I can keep you here, you won't wake up upstairs, which is on earth. And he said,
you belong to me, and you're not going to leave. You know too many secrets about my religion.
And when he went to grab me, to snuff me, this 3-foot cross appeared in my hands. I couldn't understand how a cross would appear in my hand. I never called for the cross. I put it on the devil. And he felt like nothing. He felt like he was a baby. No powers at the foot of the cross.
When John woke up, he was a changed man.
And I knew that Jesus was the Lord. I bent my knee to the cross. And Jesus came into my life.